In this video, we'll be learning all about the Shear, Reshape and Scale tools in Adobe Illustrator. In the next few minutes, you will master the usage of these three tools. You'll also know when to use them. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome back guys. Creative Psychology here. This channel is all about helping you learn graphic design using Adobe Illustrator. You must have found many other tutorials on YouTube about Illustrator and graphic design which are very long. Our aim is to help you master graphic design in the shortest time possible. We upload a tutorial shorter than 10 minutes every week. So, if you want to become a professional graphic designer, make sure that you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell to get notified when we upload a new video. Now, right onto the topic. We have the Scale tool, the Shear tool and the Reshape tool in the Tools panel over here, with this icon. This is the icon of the Scale tool. Right-click on it to open this group of tools. Now, you can click this arrow over here to get this little independent toolbox. Now, let's learn about the use of the Scale tool. As you very well know, you can scale objects using the Selection tool, like this. But obviously, the Scale tool has some very interesting features which come in handy at times. The keyboard shortcut for the Scale tool is S. Now make sure that the object is selected, then press S on your keyboard to select the Scale tool. As you can see, a pivot point has appeared in the center of the object selected. If you don't know about pivot points, then I highly recommend you to watch my tutorial on the Rotate tool first, before watching this video any further. Now, click and drag anywhere to start scaling this object, like this. The changes will be applied to the object once you release your mouse. You can scale the object uniformly if you hold Shift on your keyboard while scaling the object. Holding Shift also helps you scale in only horizontal, or vertical directions if you want to, like this. Now, let's learn about the use of the pivot point. If we click here, then we can see that the position of the pivot point has changed. And now, if we scale the object, we can see that the change is taking place in the direction of the pivot point. You can hold Alt on your keyboard to copy an object while scaling it, like this. Make sure that you release the button on the mouse first, before releasing the keys on the keyboard. Now, if you press Ctrl D, then Illustrator will keep making copies of the rectangle, like this. See this, it has created quite an interesting figure. I have explained this function in my Rotate tool tutorial. Now, I would like to tell you another function of the Scale tool. Let's say, you have this rectangle. Now, let's select these two anchor points using the Direct Selection tool. You can also use the Scale tool to scale a path. Let's select the Scale tool. Now, you can decide whether you want to spread it out, or you want to shrink it in. Remember that I had selected only two anchor points. If you don't do this, then it will scale the whole object. Let's say we have multiple objects. This is a square. And now, I create some copies of it. Something like this. Let me add a fill to all of these, so you can see a little bit better. Using the Direct Selection tool, I am selecting the upper anchor points of these shapes. And now, using the Scale tool, we can scale all of these upper paths at once, like this. Now, these shapes are converging towards the pivot point. But now, if I place the pivot point on this side and if I scale down the paths, then you can see that these shapes are converging toward the pivot point again. Now, we will be learning the Shear tool. First, let me tell you what shearing means. First, using the Direct Selection tool we select these two anchor points of this square. We move them little towards the right, like this. This process is known as shearing. We can shear objects like this, but this method is only suitable for a single object. So now, we will be learning the Shear tool. If we have multiple objects, Let's say you have these squares. Now let's select the upper anchor points using the Direct Selection tool and drag them towards the right. You can see that the entire design has not been sheared. We can shear the entire design using the Shear tool. Just select all these shapes, select the Shear tool, and then drag anywhere on the artboard. Now, the entire design has been sheared. Next, we have the Reshape tool. The Reshape tool is not exactly necessary, but sometimes, it can save a lot of time. Let's draw a rectangle. Now, using the Add Anchor Point tool, we add an anchor point here. Now, using the Direct Selection tool, we move this anchor point to a little over to the right. And then, using the Anchor Point tool, we curve out this anchor point a little bit, like this. Using the Reshape tool, all this can be done in 1 or 2 steps. Let me undo everything for a second. First, we have to select a path using the Direct Selection tool. Now, using the Reshape tool, click and drag anywhere on the path you have selected. This will add an anchor point and also, it will curve the anchor point automatically. However, before using the Reshape tool, make sure that you have selected a path first and not a complete shape. If you select the complete shape and then use the Reshape tool, then no changes will be done. The figure will remain as it is. It will just add an anchor point at the place you clicked while moving the shape. If you want to learn Illustrator from the beginner level, just click this playlist over here to watch the complete guide from beginning. So that concludes today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and I'll see you over there.